Craig Carroll, Gary Grigowski, and Jim Capo possessed only an idea for a company when they left their jobs at an international plastics company in the late 1980s. Jim had discovered that there was a shortage of quality plastic part suppliers in the U.S. that could meet the expectations of the Japanese automotive suppliers setting up new manufacturing facilities in the Midwest, and in particular in Battle Creek, Michigan. As the three engineers began raising the capital necessary to start their company, they began looking for a location for the business. A key requirement was to be within an hour drive from the Japanese automotive suppliers in the Battle Creek area. Jim and Gary stumbled onto the Albion Industrial Park and discovered that the city had a business incubator with space and loan funds available for new business startups. Having acquired funding and a location, the trio purchased 2 molding machines and moved into Albion's business incubator. Team One Plastics was now officially a business, but it had no customers and no work. It was while Craig was attending a dinner event for the Society of Plastics Engineers that he was introduced to a man who would play a major role in the fledgling company's history.
And sat across the table from a plant manager at Regal Plastics and his assistant. And they were bemoaning the fact that they had a recall from GM on a system they were part of, and their parts were going to be needing to be run, and they just were too busy and they didn't have enough press capacity. They gave us literally the mold and the plastic to run that.
We spent the entire weekend trying to process this job to the standards that we had been given, in particular the knob part of it, a very visible part, visual. And after 2 solid days, and I'm talking 18, 20-hour days, we had what we believed were still unacceptable parts. Monday morning comes, we hop in the car to go face the music. So we're speeding down I-94, and all of a sudden we see the traffic has come to a complete halt. A couple cars in front of us, we notice that a helicopter's landed on the freeway, and it's putting a body bag into the helicopter to fly off. So at that moment, we decided that, well, this is bad, but I guess it could be worse. So once the traffic cleared, we continued on to Regal Plastics, got into the meeting room and braced ourselves to face the music. We handed the parts to the guy and we're waiting to get raked over the coals about how we wasted their time with the mold. And they proceeded to let us know that these are the best we've ever seen these parts. And we were a little befuddled and said, but they don't really match the samples you gave us. And he took a look at it and said, oh, well, those aren't the right samples.
As business grew, the space in the business incubator began to get crowded as more presses and team members were added. It wasn't long before the trio realized that it was time for the company to have its own space. Plans were developed to purchase land and build a manufacturing plant in Albion's industrial park, just down the road from the incubator. In June 1992, the company moved into its new 15,000 square foot facility. And growth continued. The next year, Team One Plastics was recognized by Inc. magazine as the 101st fastest private growing company in the United States.
Our first significant direct customer was I.A. Stanley. They're a Honda Group Keiretsu company in Battle Creek, Michigan. They started kicking our tires around early 1988. Visit after visit with seemingly more and more people. Finally, they decided to give us our very first job. It was a small little light bulb cage cover. So the mold shows up one day. So we began running it, things went well. After that, all of a sudden, a pallet full of tools show up. So we start running those, then another pallet of tools starts showing up.
And in terms of Tokai Rika, we had them identified as one of our primary target customers, but we've added a lot of great customers. People like Asmo, Denso, Manenhummel, Prey, even new customers like ZF, Novum. And I probably am leaving out one or two, but they all play an integral part of our business.
Changes in location, ownership, and economic conditions have happened over the years for Team One Plastics, but a core value remains the same. It is committed to customer service excellence and the importance of developing long-term partnerships with customers.
And one of the things we take great pride in is our focus on customer service excellence. And we talk about developing true partnerships. And I think II Stanley and Toca Rica are the longest partnerships we've had, but people like Hummel and Prey, we've done business together for over 10 years. And so I think it really illustrates the strength of the relationships and how much we value our customers.